Okay, I need to get something off my chest. I used to have this friend who I thought was my best friend. I mean, that's what we used to call each other. And she had a daughter, a 20-year-old, who was expecting. And I went out of my way to make several blankets, 2 blankets, crocheted them, and was in the midst of making a beautiful cardigan and a hat for the baby. And we all knew at this point, because they had a party, baby gender reveal party, so we all knew it was going to be a girl. And I had been making all kinds of things for this young girl. I mean, we all treated each other like family. I knew this girl's parents, I know her daughter, I knew them all very well, and we all used to get together for family events and Christmas and all sorts of holidays and stuff like that for several years. So I always considered them family. Well, at one point, after I had finished this cardigan and hat, and this girl comes over to my house, and she was over here talking to me about something which really doesn't matter. About 30 minutes into this, her daughter shows up, unannounced, just walks into my house, and sees this cardigan and the hat. And I was saving that for her baby shower, because I had already given her 1 blanket and had shown her the other one, so she knew that she was getting another blanket, but I was saving the cardigan and the hat for her baby shower. But it was too late. She'd already seen it. And then they spent the next 30 minutes in my driveway trying to put a baby car seat into her car. Completely ignored me. Took the cardigan and the hat with them, and then left. Never said anything to me, no thank you, no nothing. And I had literally just had a heart attack right after this happened, or right before this happened. That's the whole reason why she was over here, was she was talking to me and finding out how I was feeling. And then telling me that this baby shower that they were planning was on my birthday. So when she took the cardigan and the hat, I thought, okay, I've pretty much given her quite a bit. I don't think I need to be bringing anything to any baby shower, particularly on my birthday. So I told my husband this, and he agreed with me. Well, we get there on my birthday for this baby shower several months later, and we did not show up with any gifts, and I did not bring in anything other than my own drink to the party. And of course, the whole family was there, everyone was there. And no sooner do I get there, but I'm immediately presented with this pool of gifts that they were collecting for this game that they were going to play, and I was supposed to apparently contribute to participate, and I didn't. But I was constantly asked in the few hours that I was there. And it finally came down to, they were playing all these games, and they sort of forced me into playing one, and I really didn't feel like it, because, as I said, I'd had a heart attack, and I was still recovering even several months later. And just didn't feel like getting my heart rate up. So I finally participated in one, and then I said to my husband, because it was my birthday, and he had told me that he wanted to take me to dinner and asked me what I wanted, and I told him, well, after everything that's been going on, and there have been several other things, which is neither here nor there, my mother's ashes disappearing, my son disappearing, having a heart attack, and my husband said, whatever you want, you get. And I said, okay, how about a lobster dinner? So he said, sure. So partway through this game that I was playing, I said to my husband, I'm kind of ready to go. I'd really like to have that lobster dinner now. And he agreed. So right after I got finished with this game, I basically said to them, thank you, I appreciate all the fun, and it's time for me to go have my lobster dinner. And she said, well, don't you want to wait for all the unwrapping of the gifts? And I looked at her and I went, absolutely not. And of course, then she says it so loudly that everyone in the room heard it, trying to embarrass me. Because she knew at this point I didn't bring anything with me. It was obvious. And at that point, I looked around the room and I went, hey everybody, you all know I just had a heart attack a few months ago, and today is my birthday, and my husband told me that he was going to take me for a lobster dinner. So, do you think that it should wait until she opens presents, or do you think I should go now? Because I really am hungry, and I'd like to go and have my dinner. And everyone in the room basically said, yeah, go eat. Have fun. Oh, it killed her. And I could see it on her face. So I left, and we had a wonderful dinner. And a few days later, I get a text from her asking me, what's my problem? And why was I talking to this other lady about this discussion she had at her party several weeks earlier? And I went, I just told her what you said to tell me to tell her. Because basically what happened was she goes to another person's party who she also knew very well. I had been invited, but I had just had a heart attack, didn't feel like going. And she had texted me, asked me if I was going to this lady's party, and I went, I don't know if I do. Are you going? And she went, I don't know. And I went, well, then we'll get together after if I go. Well, I had a very busy day that day and decided I wasn't going anywhere when I got home. So I didn't go to her party. And I texted her the next morning and apologized and said, I'm sorry. Didn't show up. I was too tired. And she understood. But then this other woman, the one who gave her daughter the baby shower, she then texted me and asked me if I went. And I said, no. And she said, well, how come you didn't come over then? And I texted her back and told her I was just too tired. I didn't go anywhere. So when I get this call from her asking me why I had said something to her about what she had told me on the phone about what happened that night at the party, because there was this whole big to-do between these two. And she basically said, well, I'm not going to come over to her house anymore until she apologizes to me, and you can tell her I said that. And I went, whatever. So after I had texted this woman and told her that I was too tired to come to her party and apologize, she called me, asked me how I was doing, and I told her what my friend had said to me. She said she wasn't going to come back over until you apologized to her. And she kind of scoffed at it, and she went, well, I don't really care. And I went, well, I don't want to be in the middle of this, okay? Because I'm friends with you both, and I don't need to be in the middle of whatever's going on between you two. And she said that was fine, and I even let it go. But then when she calls me after this baby shower and asks me what my problem is, and then basically is telling me how I have the nerve to do blah, 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 and I went, you know what? After the way that you treated me regarding this baby shower and the gifts that I had given, and then still expected more from me on my birthday, after I had a heart attack, and after all the things that I have already done and made for that kid. So after she decides to cut me off, and her daughter and her boyfriend, the one expecting, cut me off just before the baby's born, I basically went, pfft. And it's been 3-4 years now. I saw her once up at the corner store, and her dad saw me and asked me how come he hasn't seen me around lately, and I basically said, ask your daughter, because I'm not talking. And she passed by me and said blah, 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 and gets in her car and leaves, and I just sat there and laughed. I'm kind of like, girl, if that is the way you treat a friend, it's no wonder you don't have any. Because I then realized that there were better people out there that I could be friends with, and I have met them and they're still here. So obviously the problem is not me. But I understand now why your husband kept you away from me all these years. Because there were ample opportunities for her and I to have met. Our husbands were both in bands and knew each other for 10 years plus, and I hadn't met her. And yet they'd been married for 12, 14 years, something like that. It's no wonder he kept you away from everybody, including me. Because I'm the kind of person that if you can't look me in the eyes and tell me the truth, I will see it. I will see right through you. And you know it. I'm just the kind of person you cannot bullshit. You can't fool me, and I don't let people take advantage of me. It is what it is. So, I tell people this, I tell you this now, for a learning lesson. When you call someone a friend, put them to the test. And if you don't, the Lord will make sure you find out one way or the other who they really are. Because I trusted this woman implicitly until this point. And when I had been completely cut off from her and her family, told me everything I needed to know. It's funny how all my other friends don't seem to have a problem with me, and some of them I've known for over 20 years, if not longer. In fact, I think my girlfriend in Texas and I have known each other going on 40 years now. So, girl, if you can't keep friends, maybe you should look in the mirror. And people, if you find that you're having problems keeping people in your life, maybe you need to question yourself and ask why. My famous tagline that I've been telling my husband and others lately: deal with your own mirror. Deal with your mirror. The truth is in there. You just gotta look close enough. Have a blessed day, everybody.